Hello friends, welcome to ICIS YouTube channel. My name is Tanmay. In today's Prelims Bite session, we'll read about wetland. See, in today's The Hindu newspaper, there is one article, Supreme Court to examine if law is diluting the count of wetland in India. This particular article appeared in today's The Hindu newspaper, and in our what to read session, we have suggested you to read this particular article. I think all of you have read that article, and now based on this article, we have come with today's prelims bite session. But before that, you need to understand why we select that particular article for our prelims bite session. That is very important. Okay, connecting previous year question with the current affairs. That's the art you all have to learn. Okay, so for that, we researched in previous year question. We found that in 2019 UPSC asked question on wetland. The same thing, that the rule that is discussed in this particular article, that is wetland conservation management rule, and also the Ramsar Convention. These two topics already appeared in UPSC prelims question in 2019. So what we can understand, that wetland theme became very much important, and also this is in news, so its probability to ask in examination will be very high. So we'll cover it very comprehensive manner. But first you need to understand that what are the dimension we'll cover through this article. First we know the context, then we'll understand the wetland rule 2017. Okay, we'll understand the basic features and important details about this particular acts or rules. Then under this rule, this institutional architecture is there, so we'll understand that, and also we'll understand more about the regulation, right? Then we'll see about the Ramsar Convention. We'll know the basic features and nature of Ramsar Convention and the core principle. And at the end, you have to solve this particular MCQ that is appeared in the previous year question, and you need to write the correct answer in the comment section. Okay, so we can understand that your understanding is clear or not, right? We are on the same page. Okay, so let's start with the context. In which context it is appeared in news? See, in this particular rule, that is Wetland Conservation and Management Rule 2017, this particular rule is challenged. Okay, some environmental group, environmentally conscious citizen, find a petition in the Supreme Court, and this particular rules particular section, that is section 2G, is challenged in the Supreme Court. And in this context, Supreme Court sent formal notice to Government of India to explain that properly. Okay, but what you need to understand, that why this section 2G is challenged, rule 2G is challenged. You need to understand that. Okay, see, this section, see, this rule 2G talk about, like it talk about the definition of wetland, and also they like intentionally excluded certain human made wetland from the definitions, and because of that, experts are pointing out that it's against the Ramsar Convention inclusive approach, which try to govern, or which try to protect both human and also natural wetland, right? So you understand about the 2G, but we'll read more about it. But before that, we need to understand the Wetland Rule 2017 in a detailed manner. Okay, first you understand that which ministry notified this rule. This rule is notified by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and under which acts? Mother Act. What is the Mother Act? Environmental Protection Act 1986 is the Mother Act. Based on this, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change notified this particular rule. Okay, then we'll understand that section rule 2G talk about like wetland definition. And what is this definition? They give a very broad definition. Wetland are defined area of marsh, fen, peatland or water, whether natural, artificial, permanent or temporarily, containing static or flowing fresh brackish salt water. In normal, you just imagine like I think take the example of Loktak Lake. I think all of you are aware about that Loktak Lake in Manipur. That is a particular, this is called a wetland. This is a very, very important wetland. We'll understand about the Montreux record later. We'll see that this Loktak Lake is part of the Montreux record. Okay. But this wetland definition, this is a simple definition. Definition से कोई question नहीं आता, but we have to understand it for our overview. And within this definition, we talk about section rule 2G, which talk about the definition of wetland and also legally exclude some category from the wetland definition. What are those categories? Like river channel, paddy field, and human-made water body constructed for drinking water, aquaculture, and production. These are excluded from the definition of the wetland and as a part of this rule, and that is being challenged in the Supreme Court. I think you now got the point that why this particular rule is challenged. Okay, and if I talk more about this wetland rule 2017, then we have to talk about the institutional architecture. See, this rule promote decentralized management of wetland, and for that purpose it established state wetland authority. Okay, and it is headed by State Environment Ministry. Okay, along with that, on national level there is one committee, National Wetland Committee. It is headed by Secretary, Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and its role is advisory in nature. Okay, and like formally and this particular body also, this particular committee also formally recognize which wetland need to be protected under Ramsar Convention. Okay, that is important point you need to remember. Along with that, there was also this rule promote regulation. What is this regulation? See, there is absolute prohibition on certain thing. In a wetland, you cannot do all these things. For that, there's absolute prohibition. For example, land reclamation, okay, dumping site or hazardous waste you can't dump in that particular wetland. That's the absolute prohibition. Okay, but along with that, also there is some regulated activities there. For example, domestic water withdrawal, sustainable resource harvesting. These are the like regulated activity, but for that you need permission proper. Then only one can do that. Okay, so we understand about the wetland rule 2017. Now we need to understand about the Ramsar Convention. This is the only global convention which deals with the protection of wetland. Okay, there is a like common perception among the aspirant that if UPSC use words such as only, all, okay, so these are generally wrong, but you have to be very cautious. Ramsar Convention is the only global environment treaty that deals with wetland. Okay, and it come into force February 2, 1972. And Ramsar is a place in Iran. Okay, and this provide framework for national action, international cooperation, for which for conservation and sustainable use of wetland. We are talking about sustainable use of wetland, and from that concept there is one important core principle which is a part of Ramsar Convention, that is a wise use of wetland policy. What is this wise use of wetland policy? Like ones need to manage wetland in such a way that is a sustainable. Okay, and it does not mean that conservation will go against the resource extraction. Resource extraction will be there, but it should be sustainable. It should not harm the ecological characteristic of that particular wetland. That need to be remembered. Okay, that's called the wise use principle or wise use policy. And it also, this Ramsar Convention also collaborate with other organizations for a comprehensive protections. What are those organizations? IUCN is there, BirdLife International is there, International Water Management Institute is also there. With this body, this Ramsar Convention coordinate for better protection of wetland. And then one more thing we need to understand about that is a Montreux record. What is this Montreux record? See, there is certain specific wetland whose ecological characteristics are changed rapidly due to the human action. Because of human action, the ecological characteristic of that wetland change. If such thing happen, so that particular wetland can come into the Montreux record of Ramsar Convention. In India, presently there is only two wetland that is come under this Montreux record. That one is Ecology National Park. It is located in Rajasthan, and another is Loktak Lake. This is located in Manipur. Okay, these two are part of Montreux record. Previously, Chilka was part of Montreux record, but due to the better government policy and also the community-based approach for management, okay, all these things, the ecological characteristic of Chilka Lake improve, and as a part of that, it come out of Montreux record. So, if certain wetland placed in Montreux record, it is not good for that particular wetland, and government as well as citizens need to take some recent and strong initiative to protect that, right? So we understand about all the important dimension about wetland from based on this article, that is Wetland Rule 2017 Ramsar Convention. And also understand that Rule 2G of this particular Wetland Rule 2017 is challenged, and why this is challenged, we understand about all this important information. And now I'm zooming my screen, and this question is there. Just pause your screen and solve this particular question and write the correct answer of this question in the comment. Okay, and if you don't get clarity, you can see this video once again in a 2x speed. That will be good. Okay, so that is it for today, the wetland topic. I think all of you have understand, and if you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Okay, thank you so much, student, for attending this particular discussion, and all the very best for your upcoming exam. Thank you.